Hey guys, and welcome back to another live stream. In this live stream, we are again going to be talking all things AFLW Fantasy, as we do have, I guess, actually a Saturday game to start the round. We don't have a Thursday or Friday game because they are for the men's. So we do have a little bit of time. So you may see that my team reveal or something of that regard may come out on the Friday instead of the Thursday. I may delay things back one a day so that you can see stuff on the Thursday and the Friday as well. But anyway, welcome back. And it's good to see all of you in here. So anyway, I thought the first thing to start off with, and this will probably become common when we do these Wednesday live streams. The Thursday live streams more about we get in there. We have about 50 minutes until the team list, but with the Wednesday night, we don't have any team lists or anything to worry about. So I feel like we can sort of go through the injury list, and then that'll build up some questions from all of you, and then we'll go through the questions and slowly build from there. But anyway, before we jump into it, remember to like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so that you know when I not only upload, but I also go live like this Wednesday and Thursday nights. Wednesdays at 7:30 and Thursdays at 5:30. But anyway, let's jump into this here. So we first have all of the injuries to go through, which are quite a few interesting ones that we sort of knew about and stuff like that. Adelaide, I don't think there was any major update there for injuries, so they got off pretty scot-free from their perspective. Brisbane, you'll see they have nothing as well really there, so that's pretty good there. There's no major injuries. You'll see that once we get down here, there are some major injuries, but we'll get to them later. Carlton, Good, Pound, and Vickers. There's no real things there to look at. Collingwood, I don't think either. We knew about the Slisher concussion, so that's not even one. Breed and Allen, they're all out, so there's nothing there. We obviously, the Essendon, you've still got the extra week for Too Good. She's still got 1 week more of the, what is that? A 2-game suspension, I should say. So she's got 1 game to go there. Madison Gay, I just cannot see fronting up this year. We haven't got a timeline yet for her, so I think she's going to be one that will just sit out the whole year, which will be good for next year, for her value next year, but for the better part of this year, probably not the best for her. And then we also have the likes of, well, no one else actually really here in the Essendon injury list. For Fremantle, O'Driscoll concussion, and I believe that's the only major one, which is good to see. But yeah, obviously isn't the best to see O'Driscoll go down, but at least no major ones. Geelong, nothing major either. And then we start to get to the injury list as well here. Gold Coast, you'll see they have quite an injury list. Whitford was pulled very, very late, if my memory serves me, in one of these last couple of games. I don't remember which one it was. I have a feeling it was round 3. I can probably actually look that up for you guys. Whitford, she did not play round 3, so she played round 2 and then didn't play round 3. So she's going to be a test. I don't know if she will front up. Charlotte Wilson, a big, big injury there for the round 3 late out for the likes of Whitford. I thought it was, just wanted to double check. Charlotte Wilson, a key defender, so that is a major upgrade for the likes of, if we just go to fixtures here for you guys, and we look at the teams to play Gold Coast in the next few weeks. You've got the Giants, so technically gold worthy, but it's most likely going to be a Tiny Evans that really positively impacts. Carlton, maybe a Bohanna, not really relevant fantasy-wise. And then you've got Adelaide, so that might be Gould. Gould really could, Gould's going to fall under that. So that could really actually help out Gould. They may have to pull a string and pull Tiny Evans down back, but that would be really dumb. I have a feeling that they'll just pull someone else. Sorry, not Tiny Evans down back. That's the wrong side. Gold Coast, that'll be interesting who they pull back. I think they'll be fine there. But yeah, you'd have to say that the likes of Gould should do really well. And then that's the fourth game there for Taylor Harris, but none of us are going to own Taylor Harris in that round. Some of us may still own Zanka, who would do really well, but I don't think it's going to have too much of an impact there this late on because she could be back by then. And then Brisbane and Hawthorn are the last couple games that fall under her injury timeline. And then the other major one was Rowbottom, TBC. If I remember correctly, and I just want to search it up because someone sort of said it could be leaning towards XYZ, but I don't remember exactly where it was potentially what her timeline was exactly. I should have probably saved or bookmarked the tweet. But yeah, Rowbottom could be cooked for the season there. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly what. Let's just see. Yeah, Rowbottom TBC. And we obviously, so they didn't show a timeline. It was just the likes of Wilson that had the timeline. So that could be Rowbottom's last game for Gold Coast, as she could move out of there, as she does have a AC joint injury, and I'm just trying to see if I can find a recovery timeline for that semblance of it. A few weeks to severe would be a few months. So she doesn't, probably not, it's anywhere probably from 1 to 8 weeks, which, yeah, that's a TBC. So I would hazard a guess it's probably going to be 4 to 8, just looking at some of Dr. Google, but that's Dr. Google and probably going to be wrong, but that sort of gives you a semblance of the timeline there for Rowbottom. And then McMullen, Lynch, Harrington, Gervin, Darcy, and Barwick. And yeah, I just wanted to point to this as well. The fact that she even played through that was pretty legendary. Like, a lot of people, she had a torn AC joint. A lot of people would have just sort of gone off and not really played through it but she just strapped it up and got going, and she played pretty much the same as she did when she was non-injured. So it really didn't look like it had too much of an impact on her. Like, yes, she was cradling it and couldn't like go absolute hellbent into the stoppage, but yeah, she still played really, really well with the injury there. And then GWS, nothing really here. Cos failed her test on her knee, so didn't play on the weekend, but looks to be back this week, you'd expect. And then Parker still being out for the year is quite big. Oh, and the big news out of that was Eva out with an injury there. And if we just look at the GWS CBAs, you will see Eva's not involved in it, so that doesn't really impact that at all. I don't know exactly where she's been playing, so we might as well just check this here just to see where exactly she has been playing. So if we go there and just double checking, yeah, Eva, she's 60% Tog, 37%, and this would look to be more of a sort of wing-ish half-forward role, which doesn't really have an impact on the side, to be honest with you now, just looking through that. For Hawthorn, Allen did her hamstring late, so she's done. Ashmore, hamstring as well. Fleming, her knee. Gilroy, Kemp is still, season. And then Stratton, the test for a hamstring. So we've still got a couple more weeks of Stone in that midfield, you'd expect. She's looked really good. And even if she's just scoring 60s and 70s, the cash generation for Stone's just going to be huge. So you'd have to just say that she's one to just lock in there. Her cash generation, just trying to find it here, Stone. She's got a 32 break even, so if she goes 68 again, she makes about 75K or so, just looking at that there. So yeah, Stone was a massive pickup and a huge cash generator, and she could get to 700K, 750K and be an easy almost up to a point where she could be involved in a 2 up, 1 down scenario alongside like a Harris or someone like that. And we'll have to even keep an eye on, there's been good discussions about sort of, is Scholes to Strom even valuable? I think it will be valuable, and I think this week will show, but it will be interesting, that discussion that has there. Then we get to Melbourne. This one's big. This one had quite a lot of how do I say it right? There was quite a lot of movement on this on the injury front for Melbourne. If you were watching the game, you would have known Shelley Heath out with inconsistent heartbeat or something of that regard, just because of a sickness or something of that. And she's not listed. So that's a good sign. She has an 82 break even or something like that. So she's not going to really move much in terms of cash next week if she goes off, and she should be back to her midfield role. She'd scored like 39 and 30% tog or something like that. If we actually go to Heath here, she's down to 7.53. So she's actually at a perfect scenario where we just wait and watch with her. 39 and 20% tog is perfect. That she's gone down to 750k, because she could be one in the back end of the year that we go Watson 2 or something of that regard when she picks it back up again, because she is one that could easily be upgradable in the next upgradable 2. And almost be just a straight sideways, because she had that injury affected game and she also had the non-midfield 50 there. So I'm looking at that and wondering if that is the best case scenario there. And then obviously Goldrick shoulder TBC, that's going to impact the back line. And one thing I'd just say with a lot of these sort of injuries that we're getting to is you can't look at one game and say that that's the new norm. You have to look at multiple games to say that that is the new norm, because a lot of people are jumping on Sheeran because of the injury to Garner. That's going to be 2 weeks, right? And then Sheeran's going to go into the back line. It's going to look absolutely horrendous. So you've got 2 weeks. If Sheeran goes 100, I'm pretty sure her break even isn't that kind anyway. It's not outlandishly low, if my memory serves me correctly. Let me just see if I can find it for you. She's not even in the lowest or the highest expected price rises. She's not expected to make a price rise that high this week. So that's a good thing there, that she's not expected to make much of a cash rise. I don't think, did I miss her? No, I didn't. And then, so she will be, I think, fine. There's I can't actually see her on the table here, just looking quickly. So, that's the thing that I think makes me wonder about her a little bit more. Sheeran is just that if we actually, and I'll show you exactly what I'm hinting at here. If we go to Elise Sheeran, she's played 1 season on ball and she went 80, and people are jumping on her second highest score of a 102 and saying that's going to be her new norm. I don't think you can do that logically. I think that is very much taking a little bit of a punt on something. She went 97 and 88 in round 8 and 9 against Collingwood and Geelong. Geelong, she scored an 88, and Collingwood, she had the full midfield role for a 97. Collingwood are absolute donkey in the last couple of years. So, there's no point really looking at that, because she played Collingwood the next year in a similar role and went 91. So, and she went 117 against Melbourne. So, I'm looking at this going, she's put up stinker scores in this role, 55% for a 54. And, I mean, you can take out, that's actually her just playing as a backman there, or a back, I should say. I just do not really stand this whole, she's going to score outlandishly well, because full CBAs, 68% CBAs, she's gone 97. 62% CBAs, she's gone 78. 56, she's gone 78 as well. 67, she's gone 91. 74%, 73% CBAs, she's gone 74. Then she's had a big couple of games, and then she's gone back down. So if you actually were to probably look at it, you'd look at that and go, if she's had over 60% CBAs or 50% CBAs, she's probably going at 85. Now, is it really worthwhile to trade in someone priced at 70 who's going to go 85 for 2 weeks? Or is it better to just get the cash generation from the rookies like Greaves, who could go 75, who's priced at 40, 42? That's a much bigger upside in Greaves. with a much lower break even than it is with Sheeran, who also only has 2 weeks of cash generation in her. So that's why I'd say with Sheeran is a no-go for me, because I think she's going to put up like a 70 or an 80, and it's just not going to be worthwhile. But anyway, back to this. Obviously, as the thumbnail has it, Jazz Gardner with the 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury, I believe. So yeah, she is not going to be there. It's going to be a massive it's going to cause a massive hole there, which that's going to, I guess, allow someone to take it. It's probably going to be Sheeran, as we said, but Sheeran break evens only is 54. If she goes 80, then if she goes 85, she goes up 80k. And then her break even probably again about a 40. And then if she goes 85 again, she goes up another 100, 110. So you're buying her almost for maybe 200 to 250k cash generation potential at best. And I just don't see there really being much of an option upside there. Whereas Greaves could go up 200k in a week. So I'd much rather stay. There's very much a breakaway couple of groups of midfielders that I like. And let's just say that Sheeran would be top of the line in the defender or the forward line, but not top of the line in the midfield. Then for Port Adelaide, they have still got window 2 to 4 weeks. Lauren Young is a test. That's huge. Huge because either we're going to probably grab her next week either way if she plays or not. She's probably going to be on low tog, but there's been so much hype around her, and I'm willing to trade like a Bogue to her unless Bogue goes again and scores like 90. But I'm willing to trade a Bogue to her next week because Bogue's probably, if I just check here again, Bogue has a break even of 28, which is meaning that she's expected with a 67 to go up another 78, 80k. And that would get her up towards about that 660k, and 660k is huge. And then we can downgrade Lauren Young, who is probably going to be, even if she has a good game, somewhere around that 350 marker, 360. So if we can get 300k from a Bogue to a Lauren Young, then we're absolutely flying there. So that's what I would be really considering there, is just looking at doing that trade next week, giving her a week in case she stuffed it up and you basically have a dead or a non-playing rookie there, like a red dot, because you probably don't want that at this point in the year. But I think wait a week for her because she's the one that's been talked up all of preseason. She was the 300k player there that a lot of us were willing to choose in our starter squads. So when she's finally come around, you still need to be factoring in cash generation, and more cash generation, because we need the top liners. And I know if you were to look at my team and you were to go, oh, you could go a wrench and an up, etc., and then have Watson, Fish, Scholes and Stone as your sort of your lowest ones. Stone, Bogue, and Harris are almost at the point where they can combine easily. Then you'd have Tone and Dunlop and Scholes combined to Strom pretty easily. And then I'd only really need Fish up and maybe Pasparkas and Bowers. But you can start to see that I'm near enough getting to a point where I probably can get the cash generation sorted out to do the upgrades. But having said that, you still want to focus on cash generation because some players could get their could have a poor score and lose 100k, like what Watson did, 114k for a 35. What the heck was she thinking? So that was a bad choice by me in the end. But anyway, Richmond, Brennan knee, she's a test, and then nothing else. I don't think. A lot of tests for them as well. General soreness. They have quite a lot of tests, so we'll see how that pans out tomorrow night. And then for St Kilda, Vesely is into concussion protocols. No Patrikios on this is probably a good time because Vesely, I think it is, took quite a few CBAs. I know that Patrikios was injured, but you still had, if my memory serves me correct, the downgrade of yes, you can start to see that the CBAs were feigning off for Patrikios. So it was probably a great time, even though the matchup was an easy one, to jump off of the likes of Patrikios. Maybe it was just my luck this week that I jumped off 3 players that combined for 130 points and all have injury clouds over them. I know Patrikios wasn't named in the injury, but she had an injury cloud in game. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about those. Sydney, very light on the injuries other than Hurley getting injured, which could just mean better for, if we just go to Sydney for a second here, it's probably going to be both Montana Ham and also the likes of Chloe Molloy that do really well, because Hurley's midfield numbers only 18% in the game, but we've seen before 38% in the year. So you'd expect someone to take over those numbers. And it's probably just basis on the midfield mix. It probably is a Ham or Maloney that do it. And they keep the likes of Molloy at in the forward line, I would think, in the upcoming game. Then we get to West Coast, Sonny Baker, Backer, Lucy Boyd, Johnson still 1 to 2 weeks away, Schilling and Smith. So they still have their injuries there, but nothing major added. And then for the Dogs, you've got Emma McDonald's shoulder. She's cooked. And if I remember saying, don't mind if I do, Emma McDonald, she's that far down that, is she 300K? Like, in all seriousness, is she 300K? She's 320K. She's averaged 24.3 and she looks cooked for the year. That is the biggest I told you so to some people that you'll see. Key forwards don't work year one. That is just historically it shows. We've seen Amber Clark come in as a top draftee, fail. We've seen now Emma McDonald come in, and she was averaging 30 before anyway, so it wasn't like she was groundbreaking and then got injured and the injury tanked her average. We've seen many others, like if we look at the forward line and I'll just name off some players that I looked at. Zanker, I believe, averaged in the mid-40s. Tiny Evans as a forward, I think her first year was 40s. Gould was definitely in the 40s. Maloney was in the 40s. Harris, I believe, and Wardlaw were in the 40s as well. They don't work. So please put that on your in blaring yellow highlighter. Do not pick key forward rookies next year because they do not work. So yeah, that's the injuries. We went through it now, so we can get to the questions, but I thought I'd just put that there on notice. So Ben's first question, thoughts on Ott, Wrench, and Bowers to Rigioni, Greaves, and Riddell ranked 345 overall. Riddell, I know that there's been a lot of discussion in sort of podcasts this week about the viability of Riddell. I think that she's still viable at her price. I know she's 1.58 million and she could easily get quote unquote tagged out of a game, etc., and lose that value, etc. But she's gone off in 2 straight games, gone 43 and 40 touch. Like, she's doing what she needs to do. She's also getting 10 plus mark and also tackle contributions there. So she's doing that. So I do like that. Ott and Wrench to Bowers. Rigioni is the one that I'm like, who is that? Is that the defender that I was looking at? I can tell you right now, my trades are awfully similar, except I ain't going, I'm not going Bowers. I'm going more of the, I'm doing it through Tonin. And going to a premium defender is what I'll say. I won't give it away, but they are very, very similar trades. I think it is the week to drop off of Ott and Wrench. If I just look here at their break-evens and try and find them, I don't know if I'll exactly be able to find them, but yeah, I don't think they're going to necessarily go up much, that pair. Because they're not in the expected cash generation. Whereas Greaves has the lowest break-even in the comp at 16, her price of 499K. So I could actually technically go Greaves and Boyd, but I don't think if I did something else, but I don't think that's valuable. I think it is valuable just looking here quickly at the cash generation to go the likes of the Greaves route. She's at a 16 break-even, projected to go up 170K with 78. And then you've also got, none of the other ones that you wanted to trade out are in the really low break-even bracket. So, looking good there. Rigioni, who has an 18 break-even as well. If she goes 43, she goes up 70K. So if she does really well, and I'm pretty sure she was one that did pretty well as well to start the game, was it? Or was it she ended the game well for Melbourne? I'll have to double-check that. But she had a good game of 43 anyway, so she's the best defender rookie to grab. But just looking at Rigioni, she had 12 points, 17 points, 14 points, and then 0 in the last on 51% TOG. So if she bothered to play the last, she ends up on like a 60 or like a 55. And if she does 55, then she is going to go up potentially somewhere around the 30, 35K plus the original 69. So she's going to go up about 100, 105K if she finishes out a game pretty strongly, which that's huge cash gen. If you get 1 or 2 weeks of those, that's where you get that cash gen to do that extra big jump, because that could be the difference in the long run. And I know we have the Garner injury, and Marinoff has dropped off a cliff this year. But if we look at the sort of averages for the women's, for the midfielders, Marinoff here, if we look at the averages here, you'll see Marinoff still in 4th. You've got Bonucci, who I don't think will hold it. Riddell out front. But there always is this gap here, and you see it again through here. Garner's still 113 injured, which is crazy. But you'll see a gap here created of 10 points. So you really only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to really choose from this year. And usually Garner is up around that sort of 120 marker, which means that that gap starts to really lengthen. Conti Nanscorn's probably not going to hold it, I don't think, in the long run. So she's probably going to be more around that 100 marker. So you're probably going to have a group of, and Bonucci I don't think will hold it in the long run, but maybe she will. So you're going to probably have a group of 7 or 8, maybe 6 that are really 10 or so points better. And that extra 200K circling right back around can get you to those midfielders. And you could be making 10, 20, 30 points per game on average over people that don't have them. So, thoughts. Thought I was in for a great score till Kana and Heath went down early in the second quarter. Melbourne think Heath will play. Big watch. I have a lot of changes to think about. Yeah, I absolutely lucked out. Like there was no lucking out to do more than what I did, because I didn't have Heath and I didn't have the likes of Garner. And I know a lot of people had Garner captain. I know some had the Riddell captain when she went off. And I could have easily done the Riddell kept. And I was actually thinking about this sort of throughout the early portion of this week is I wish I'd done the Riddell over Gardiner and then just played Bogue on field instead of Harris. I would have had like extra cash gen, would have had the extra hunt. I would have had probably somewhere close to, because I would have gone Boyd. So I would have had Boyd's cash gen compared to Harris was, if we just look here, 193K compared to Harris's 61. So I would have had an extra 131K of cash generation. I would have had an extra, Boyd wouldn't have been on field, but I would have had Bogue 79 over Harris's 52. So that's 27 points. Plus I would have had Riddell's, her score over the likes of Gardner. So that's 63. So that 63 plus 27 is the likes of 90 points. So it would have been 90 points better off, as well as 130K better off, as well as had a lot more in the bank. So it would have probably been upgrading different sections of my team. I would have been upgrading potentially in the back line and in the midfield, in the back line and in the forward line this week if I'd gone that route. But it would have been a lot better, obviously, off. But that Sunday games were kind of crazy and helped me out because I probably, if Garner plays the full game, I'm 2,000 ranked and not 1,500th. Do we hold Heath because she isn't on the injury list or too risky? No, I think you do hold her. 82 break even. I think she'll play this week, and I think she'll get, even if it's slightly reduced TOG, I think she'll go 70 or so, and I think that'll be fine in the back line. We already answered that one. Then we have Zach here. Thoughts on Charlie Thomas to McCormack, Tonin to Goldworthy, Wrench to Boyd. I don't really like those trades, to be honest with you. Thomas, I think you just hold her like a lot of people are doing with Watson to a certain extent. Yes, Watson had, I think, a 62 or something. Watson's gone 72, 68. 64, then the 35. She has one bad game. I think she can catch it back up. So I don't really like the Thomas to McCormack. I don't like trading out Thomas just yet because she's gone 75, 72. And then she only went and dropped. She's still averaging 67, which if we look at the defenders here and we look at their averages, yes, you've got quite a lot of defenders averaging a little bit more for the year this year. But I think in the long run, you can start to see that 70 average, I think, holds. So we'll see how that goes in the long run. But I think that'll be near enough around where the top 5 to 7 land, because I think you've got Richardson on one game, Carney on one game, and you've got Boyd as well, who has played 2 games, but she could easily have a stinker and fall out of that as well. So I wouldn't probably do Thomas. Turn into Goldsworthy's probably about the only trade that makes sense, because I think you're just wasting. Boyd's good, and she does have a low break even, but if she drops a stinker, she's an automatic trade out, and you're basically getting no cash generation. So I think Greaves is the one with the better role to go to. Best targets this week in terms of trade-ins, very confused this week. I would be targeting your backline and strengthening it up, because I think there is a lot of value there. You've got Carney at 8.15, Georgia Stathis at 9.15. You've also got McCormack at 8.75. And I think that those are very, very good options for at the moment. And you can basically get to having 5 semi-primo defenders there, and only really having to go up one of them to a Lucas Rod to basically be matching the rest of the best defenders, because I think a lot of them will fall back into that mid-70s, if not 70, low 70s there. Worth trading out Bowers this week? Don't think so. I think she just had a poor game. She just had a poor quarter, really. If she gets the tackles back up, it was a very open game because North are just too good. Sydney this week, I think she'll do all right. Are they playing in Sydney this week? They are playing in Sydney at Henson. So I will just quickly check the weather for you. The weather is absolutely fine. It's next week. This time next week that it turns bad again. But yeah, I think Bowers I'm willing to hold for another week there. Then we have thoughts on McCormack or Georgia Stathis. I like McCormack better than Georgia Stathis. McCormack basically, and I said this in round 1, at the end of round 1. If you actually look at McCormack, she's gone 71, 63, 107. But in the last 2.5 games, she has gone and scored 59, 122. She scored 229 in the last 2.5 games. So if you take out that pathetic half of football that she had to start the year and go 229 divided by 2.5, she's averaging 91.6 for the year. Now, I'm just double checking that I got those stats right with her, because if she did have what I thought she did, let's just double check. She had 12 points and then 8, so it's 20 rather than the 12. So that is 221 divided by 2.5. So she's averaging 88.4 in the last 2.5 weeks. And yeah, I'm pretty sure her second halves are quite ridiculous in games. In the second game as well, she scored a 63, as we know, and first quarter 7, second quarter 10. So she went 46 in the second half after a 51 in the second half of the game against Essendon in round 1. And then in round 3, she went and scored in the second half a full, if I just quickly bring it up here, she went and scored 22 and 37. So she scored 59. She's gone, what did we say again? Something like 46, 51, 46, 59 in second halves this year. She's gone off in second halves and been the best defender in second halves, because the likes of Paxman and now Rigioni have both decided not to bother in second halves, it looks like. Do we bring back Too Good next week? I think you can give it a miss, because you'd be worried that she potentially just has a stinker game. There's no cash in there. I don't think she has necessarily a big role that you're looking at going at 600k. We want that in. So I'd almost rather get her for near enough peak value and be sure that she's top forward than what she produced in the first couple of weeks. Which two do you think to field out of Bogue, Stone, and Hampson? Who is Hampson? Who in the world is Hampson? Hampson, I'd be going Bogue for top liner effect. I think that she can have that 80 game, whereas I don't know if Hampson can. And Stone's pretty much a rolling up a 70. I don't think Hampson can do that. So I'd be going those two over Hampson. This was our conversation about the likes of the key forwards. Then we get here, Corey saying, I feel I can't go Greaves as one to keep Howley for the Gold Coast matchup. That's the thing, is like, what's Howley's break even? Let's try and figure out what is she going to score roughly. GWSPs, no. Fletcher, no. McCormack, no. We don't really have any really good break evens, I would say, for the likes of Howley. I don't think it would be too terribly high, Howley. If we just look at her here, she went up 54k for a 55, so she's probably still going to go up 50, 60k. It's just Greaves with that 18 break even and scoring a much better could really go up and score that. And go up 200k rather than the 50k that Howley's probably going to go up. Beeson tagged Noffy last time, so could she still go well, or will she tag single? Tagged Noffy last week, but could go well. Let's actually check. What did Garner do when I knew that she got injured. Didn't know when she got injured. 51 on 27% tog. Wow, she was on fire. 1 goal. Wow. She's already kicked 8 for the year. That's crazy. But anyway, Beeson tagged Noffy. Beeson tagged Noffy last week. Could she go well, or will she tag single? She won't tag single, I don't think. The Gold Coast midfield is so diabolical that I don't think there'll be any tagging going on there from GWS. Thoughts on Bowers, Patricios, and Posty to Riddell, Hanks, and Greaves? I actually really like that combination. Riddell is probably overs on Bowers' points output. Hanks is overs on Patricios' output, and Greaves is overs on Pausty's cash generation. So you're getting upgrades in all the key departments that you need there. Harris has a good run. I think she will score well. Scored a 51 without any goals. Yeah, I was actually, if you look at the game and what actually happened, and I think you heard it sort of in my my team review, is that she dropped a chest mark. If she goes back and kicks it from 35 out or whatever it was, then that's plus 12. Plus 12 there gets her up to a 63. She also had a free kick against, which was a half push in the back, half holding the ball, like actual tackle, where she could have easily, I feel like, gotten the other whistle and had a shot on goal. If she kicks it, that's plus 13. So she had plus 25 potential just on two very, very 50-50 almost type of things. And that's a 76, let alone I didn't even watch the second half. She could have easily I think she dropped a couple of other marks as well. So she has the potential with her marking capabilities that she clunks it on a day like we saw Moffat do. And suddenly she scores an 85-90 and the cash gen is there. So probably will be an annoying hold this week. But yeah, I can see the upside there. Will Georgia P copper tag from Essendon? She might, but I don't think it will be too much there. It was just her tackling that really didn't happen on the weekend. Really worried about the way Woodlands is wandering around the ground. Concerned about her when she comes up against better sides. Didn't she score like a 71 against North Melbourne playing on ball? Let me actually just double check this. Port Adelaide here. You got Woodland, 89% CBAs against the likes of North for a 79. I wouldn't be too worried just yet. I think that her scoring comes in drips and drabs there. We know if you're on the Discord that her scoring came in like 5-minute sections in the game on the weekend. So it wasn't really consistent scoring. It was bang, bang, and then wait a little bit, bang, bang. She was on 0 with like 5 minutes left in the quarter and then got to 26. And then sat on 26 till about 5 minutes into the quarter, I think got to 38, did she at halftime? I will double check that. But and then in the second half, she scored a little bit there. Let me check what she was on at halftime and stuff here for you guys. In the first quarter, she scored 26. Second quarter, she scored 8. But it was bang, bang, bang in the second. Third quarter, she scored 22 and fourth 15. I don't think there's too much to worry about there. Phil Kennedy tags for Bowers this week, and also Phil, when Bowers played on Garner, played better and was behind the pace on Riddell. Yeah, Riddell's just a bigger body there. I think one of the good things for Bowers is that she may get cop it from Kennedy, but the good thing about Kennedy, and I think you'll understand where I'm coming from, and I think it's a very point, is Kennedy's not quick. Kennedy's just there to tackle. So Bowers is just going to tackle her back, and they both could almost get tackle points on the same tackle because they'll just be tackling each other. So I think that could very much happen, is that Bowers ends up with 15 tackles, even though she's getting tagged, just because Kennedy can't get away from her and she can just grab the ball or just tackle her back. So yeah, I see a big tackle game from Bowers coming up this week. Wow, this is a full team. Defenders, Georgia Stathis, yep, Thomas, yep, Conan, O'Shea, Paxman, Wrench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's Wrench off the bench. Okay, Noffy, Riddell, Bowers, Riddell, Bowers, Prasparkas, Fish. Yep, Centro, that makes sense. Forwards, Goldsworthy, Ham, Harris, Stone, Bogue, McDonald. McDonald, you're going to have to move on. Scholes, Dunlop, utility cause trades. I'd be looking for looking at your side. You're in a position where you're like, you probably need to trade Wrench. You probably can hold Bogue for another week. You need to trade McDonald and probably maybe hold on to Cos. So maybe you can do something like Wrench, O'Shea, and McDonald to like a young Rigioni, and then the big and then another big defender like McCormack. I think you should trade. You bank a lot of cash. You wait for another week. You get the cash generators in. You could also try and you know what you can do actually, because McDonald and Cos are in the same position. They're both forwards. Put Cos into McCormack's position. Trade McDonald to Greaves. Then go Wrench to Rigioni. So that gets you roughly, that's probably going to be roughly about evens. And then O'Shea could potentially move to someone, depending on what cash you have left. That would be kind of what I'm looking at. Howley break even 36. Yeah, that's 18 more than the likes of Greaves, and she's expected to go about 20 less. So that could be a gap of 38, 40 break even points, which we know is about 100K difference. So that's why I'd almost be tempted to still trade Howley, even though she's got the good matchup. Would you go Hall or Sheeran as Sparkus downgrade to facilitate Gardner to Riddell? No, I'd look at Sparkus is fine. Katie Hall, very much like Sheeran. Her best efforts in the midfield is an 85 average, might be touching 90 or so when you take out the games of her low CBAs. So I'd be looking at still holding on to Sparkus. Getting Gardner to Riddell through rookies, I think, is the best option. You still want to keep on getting those cash generators through, moving them on, keep on cash generating, because that is critical. You do not want rookies to start losing cash. Okay. Would you rather trade Amber Clark or Howley? Amber Clark, simply put. I haven't seen her name in the last couple of weeks, basically, in terms of her scoring. We can actually look it up, but I haven't seen her sort of taking away the game from anyone. Let's actually just look at this. Here, look at that for Amber Clark, as I don't think she has really taken the game away from anyone there. Let's just quickly look at it for her. She's scored 61, 31, 48. So that isn't the greatest. So yeah, I think you can move her on. Looks like I may go Gardner to Sheeran, Wrench to Carney, Harris to Goldsworthy. I know what you're trying to do, Gormad, and I understand it, but that's the type of move, I'm going to say it right now, that I feel like you get annoyed with yourself in a couple weeks' time because you miss out on the cash generation. What you can probably do is you go wrench down to Rigioni. That is about 500k difference. And then Garner to Sheeran. What is Sheeran's price? Sheeran is 806, so Garner is 1.42. So you might fall just short. And with no row bottom, also McLaughlin could go big. So yeah, I just have a feeling that you're gonna be annoyed with Sheeran's output, and I don't really like her as a go anyway, because I've shown the numbers. She's probably gonna average 85, make a little bit of cash. Sheeran's probably gonna struggle to get to 1 million, and then you're gonna be forced to trade her. And what about if you have an injury that week as well? You're just almost setting yourself up to be hurt in a couple of weeks' time. So if I was you, I wouldn't bother with Goldsworthy this week. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to take the hit because the cash generation is going to be much, much better in the long run than maybe 20 points. Goldsworthy could blow you off the park, go 160, which he's done in the past, but I don't think it's likely. Let's look at the potential chance of her. And this is not exact science. This is not exact math. She has gone above 117 once. She's gone above 117 once. So worst case scenario, she's going in an average of 90. If you're realistically thinking about it, you are most likely in the space of, 24, 34, 42 games. Realistically, actually, 34 games. She's gone above 117 once. So you are like a 1 in 33 chance, a 3 or 4% chance of her going humongous. And that took 7 marks, 12 tackles, 5 goals in her career high touches, I believe, or disposals, or near enough, her second highest disposals. So I would say, and they're a bad side, the likes of GWS, so she's not going to kick 5. So I think worst case scenario, she goes 130 or something and you burn 40 points. That's worst case scenario. Whereas worst case scenario with this trade you have set up is Sheeran goes bad and you're pretty much caught in no man's land. Or and Carney goes back down to earth and she's really only top and you're getting almost what you paid for. So I just have a feeling that you're trading in Sheeran, Carney, and Goldsworthy, who all legitimately might be what they're priced at. And you really, and that what they're priced at could not be top of the line. So that's why I'd be saying still value the cash generation, because that's where I'd be looking at. Amber Clark, yeah, 50-50 over Bogue after round 1. Yeah, I should have gone. There's been a couple of 50-50s with some rookies that have gone. I wish I'd gone the other way, but anyway. And then Zach here to end off this live stream here. Tonin to Goldsworthy, O'Shea to McLaughlin, and Wrench to Rigioni. I really like that. You're getting rid of your cash generators that are pretty much finished their cash generation. In Tonin, O'Shea's still making cash, but not too much. And then Wrench is done. And you're getting in a cash generator in Rigioni. McLaughlin, you're pumping on the chance that Rowbottom's cooked for the year. Whitford's a test, so she might be cooked there. As well as McLaughlin has real good upside after being tagged in round 1. If you take out that tag game, she's gone like 80-80 or something like that, or 72-80. Let me just double check what she's gone. 72-81. So that's still a 77, and that's top of the line. So yeah, I'd be looking at that and going, yeah, I think you can go there. So I really like that set of trades there. I really like the fundamentals behind of getting the cash generators in, but also getting the top liner in Goldsworthy. So yeah, I do like that. Too good to Scott. But what did Scott do? Scott, why are we going Scott exactly? She made 70k from going 63. I don't think there's too much. Value here. Looking at Scott here, let me just check. Plays for Richmond. Scott has a break even of 13 and projected with a 31 average that she's got, I believe, 31 average to go up 51k. But if she goes up, if she scores another 40, but you can just look at her stats. They're not outlandish, Scott. If we just look at her, Paige Scott, 31, 36, 49, 41. Her highest scores are 73 in her rookie game, where she had CBAs. She's not had CBAs here. I think that's just her going off in a game. So I don't think she'll really return the favor there. So I wouldn't be going the Paige Scott one. And then is it too early to trade Centra? Probably not. I don't know exactly what her break even is. Let me double check this. For the likes of Centra, I can't see it actually in terms of the really low break evens. Let me see. I don't think I see it there, which is a little bit annoying. So yeah, I can't exactly grab her break even. Let me see if I can search it up because maybe it was put in some chat somewhere. Let me see. Let me see. Is there any number for her? So yeah, no, we don't have a we don't have one there, I don't think, for her. So yeah. I would be probably holding on to her for another week because the role's there and you don't want to sort of be at that point. She's still making cash. She made what, 60K or something like that on the week. So let me just check. She still made 51K. She goes again. That 22 is rolling out of her break even. So I expect her break even. She's still going to make somewhere probably around that 50, 60K. And if she explodes, then she goes and makes 120K and you're looking at someone with a low break even. Centra at 16 break even, is that? If that's a 16 break even, then that's good. If it is, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, if it is, then that's a really good break even to jump on there. Let me just see if I've missed her in the in somewhere here. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring this up, as I think I've just seen something here. Let me see. If I go here and look up for Centra and try and find her. Centra, she has a 27 break even. Yeah, 27 break even. That sounds about right. And with a 40, yeah, and with a 40, she goes up 36K. But if she goes and scores a 50, she's probably going to go up about 60K again. So yeah, that's where I'm looking at there. So yeah, I finally actually found a one that I can grab most of the break evens for you guys there. But anyway, I think that is almost a good point to end the live stream. Let's just answer this one question here. Thoughts on Wrench to Rigioni? Yep. O'Shea to Boyd, Harris to... I wouldn't be going Boyd. There's no real point going Boyd. Harris to Best, 800s, 850K. I really like your last trade, Zach, that you had Tonin. I don't think you have to trade the likes of Harris. I think you can go that last set of trades here. That was the Tonin, O'Shea, and Wrench ones. So I think you can go there. But anyway, that is the live stream for the Wednesday night. I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the Thursday team lists coming out at 6:20. We will be live. Well, I'll be live, I should say, at 5:30, and we will run all the way through to team lists, and we will see you guys all on the Thursday night, hopefully. So I will see you guys then.